The wind howled through the high mountain pass like a wounded beast, tearing across the frozen valley and rattling the thin canvas tent that stood alone against the endless white. Its fabric stiff with ice and desperation. Snow fell relentlessly, piling higher with every hour, as if the mountains themselves were trying to erase every trace of life that dared exist here. Inside the tent, two small children lay curled together beneath worn fur blankets, their breaths shallow, their faces pale in the flickering glow of dying embers. Outside, Alara stood barefoot in the snow for a moment too long, her toes numb, her hands clutching a thick fur hide to her chest as though it were the last piece of the world holding together. She had walked this path back and forth through the night, counting steps, whispering prayers, begging the sky for mercy it never gave. Her husband had gone days ago to find help and never returned, swallowed by the same mountains now circling them like silent executioners. Hunger gnawed at her belly, fear hollowed her chest, but it was the cold, creeping toward her children, that finally shattered what little strength she had left. Then she saw him. At first she thought he was another trick of exhaustion, a shadow moving against the snowfall. But as he stepped closer, the shape became terrifyingly real. He was enormous, towering over the snowdrifts, broad as a bear, his bare chest scarred and hardened by years of survival, wrapped only in thick animal furs that told stories of blood, endurance, and battles fought alone. His beard was wild and dark, dusted with frost, his eyes sharp and distant, like a predator who had learned to live without mercy. This was the man whispered about in broken villages and dying campfires, the mountain giant who lived beyond trails, beyond law, beyond kindness. People said he survived storms that killed caravans, fought wolves with his bare hands, and vanished anyone foolish enough to cross his territory. Ilara's heart pounded violently as he stopped a few steps away, his gaze shifting from her trembling form to the tent behind her, where the faint glow of fire struggled against the dark. For a breathless moment, neither of them spoke. The wind filled the silence, carrying snow between them like ash. She knew he could turn away, that men like him did not linger, did not care, did not help. But when she imagined her children waking to frozen air and never waking again, something inside her broke free of fear. She stepped forward, her voice cracking as it escaped her lips. "Please don't leave us here." The words came out broken, stripped of pride, heavy with everything she had lost and everything she was about to lose. Her knees trembled as she held out the fur hide like an offering, her eyes burning with tears that froze on her lashes. The giant mountain man stared at her, his expression unreadable, jaw tight, breath slow and controlled. Snow settled on his shoulders as if the mountain itself claimed him. He looked past her again, toward the tent, toward the small shapes inside that shifted weakly beneath thin blankets. Something flickered in his eyes then, not pity but memory, raw and painful. Long ago, another winter, another storm, another moment when turning away had cost him everything. His fists clenched, scars stretching like warnings carved into flesh, and for a heartbeat Alara believed he would walk away anyway. Then he spoke, his voice deep and rough, carrying the weight of stone and solitude. "I won't leave my family." The word stunned her. "Family?" she whispered, hope trembling dangerously in her chest. He did not answer. He moved past her, pushing aside the frozen tent flap, and warmth spilled into the night like a promise. He knelt beside the fire pit, coaxing dying embers back to life with practiced hands, and when the children stirred, coughing softly, his movements softened, careful not to wake them. He adjusted their blankets, massive hands gentler than she ever imagined possible. Alara sank to her knees, exhaustion finally claiming her, tears sliding freely as the fire crackled stronger. Outside, the storm continued its assault, but inside the fragile shelter, something had changed. Morning came slowly, pale light creeping through the seams, revealing a world still locked in ice but no longer hopeless. Alara woke in panic, then relief when she felt warmth and heard the fire alive. He sat near the entrance, sharpening a blade, alert, unmoving. He had not slept. He had not left. The children woke laughing, their small joy cutting through days of terror. And though the giant said little, his presence spoke louder than words. He reinforced the tent, shared food he had hunted, and explained they must leave before another storm sealed their fate. The journey down the mountain was brutal. Snow swallowed their legs, wind cut through bone, fear stalked every step. When Alara slipped on hidden ice, he caught her without effort, setting her back on her feet with quiet assurance. When exhaustion claimed the children, he carried them without complaint, his steps steady despite the mountain's resistance. Wolves appeared at dusk, eyes glowing between trees, hunger written in every movement, and Alara's breath caught in terror. But the giant stepped forward, placing himself between danger and his family, unmoving, unafraid until the predators retreated. At last, a valley appeared below, smoke rising faintly in the distance like a promise of life. Relief weakened Alara's knees, but the giant slowed, stopping at the edge. Fear surged again until he knelt before the children, met their eyes, and then looked at her. "I told you," he said quietly. "I won't leave my family." Tears fell freely now, warm with hope, and Alara understood the truth. Family was not blood alone, but choice, sacrifice, and standing when walking away was easier. Together they moved toward safety, no longer strangers bound by desperation, but something stronger, forged by survival, while the mountains stood silent behind them, witnesses to a promise kept. If this story touched your heart, if you felt the cold, the fear, and the power of unexpected family, then don't let the journey end here. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful, cinematic stories that stay with you long after the screen fades, because the strongest stories are still yet to come.